All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thank you for being here. We've got a great episode for you. Of course, today we're going to be talking about 6 tips to make your workouts more effective. Who doesn't want a more effective workout? I mean, more bang for the buck.
Yeah.
We're recording this episode the week before Thanksgiving. I got a question I'm going to spring on you real quick here. What Thanksgiving food are you most looking forward to having this year?
I really like the hot rolls.
That's a good one. Good answer. I was going to go with hot rolls or like the sweet potato casserole that your mom makes.
I'm changing up the menu this year.
We're not having sweet potato.
We're not having sweet potato casserole.
I may not show up. What are we having instead?
Mashed potatoes. We never do mashed potatoes.
That's true.
I want to try them this year. We always do this. This year I'm going to do, the turkey and dressing, and then like the black olives and the cranberry sauce and the rolls. Those are the standards. And then like the sides, I'm totally changing up.
Oh man.
I'm excited.
We have a meeting after this podcast. I want to make sure I'm
just like, I don't like, it's just like the same old thing every year. And
it's true.
All these casseroles.
And then you might have it again.
I even
for
got
Christmas.
my mom to approve them. She's excited.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Before we get to today's sponsor, quick announcement. Blakely just put the finishing touches on something really exciting that we've been doing for the last few years. What is it?
It's the 2024 gift guide. Every year we have put out a gift guide to help you guys shop for people, in your life that might want like fitness equipment or apparel or anything like that, gym related. And this year we took it to our clients and we sent out an email like a month or so ago and said, hey, can you help us with this gift guide? What would you want? Or what things do you use that you would suggest to others?
Right.
And this is like my favorite gift guide yet, because everybody kind of gave their gift idea and like a quote or like the reason that they like it or was suggested. It just came out so great.
Yeah.
So if you're on our email list, you've already got it. It dropped in the emails today. But if you're not on our email list, just
check the description / show notes for this episode. Last week I talked about.
What do they do?
Oh, we'll put a link where they can click on it and it'll download.
Okay.
No gimmick, just get it.
Just get it.
What was I going to say? I don't know, something about the gift guide, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
Also, other announcement is the Black Friday sale that's coming up next week.
Okay.
People have been like, when's the Black Friday sale going to happen? It's going to happen on Black Friday.
Well, because most people's are happening like the day tomorrow, Thursday, the week before Thanksgiving. I'm like, what month is it? We decorated for Christmas already, and this is the first year I've decorated early, and I'm so excited. I love it.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it's about to be Christmas, though.
So you got to be on, if you want the first shot at the Black Friday sale, please be on our email list. We decided that we're going to cap it at 20 people to take advantage of the sale. It's going to be a sale on a training program. So if you are looking for an effective training program, make sure you're on our email list.
And if you could use these tips to make it even more effective, boom.
You've got a sponsor real quick?
I know. We had a new sponsor come up this week.
What do we got?
Twice the Ice.
Twice the Ice.
If you guys live in a small town, maybe you've been to a Twice the Ice.
I don't know if it's regional or what.
I think I've seen them in like Mississippi. I've seen them all over the place.
Okay.
So it's the little stores where you can get water and ice for, you put in your
it's
dollar.
It's like a kiosk or a trailer.
You walk up. Yeah, there's no person working there. Yeah. It's all by machine. But the reason that they're the sponsor is because I am now using Twice the Ice's water to wash my hair. It is dire. And
go even deeper. Explain more than just you're using their water.
Well, we've talked about how the water here is hard, and a lot of people live in hard water, and they're like, "Oh, my glasses get spotty." Yeah. This is beyond hard water. This is like destroying everything in its path. Water, and this is a house that we rent. We can't replace the system or get the correct softeners in place. So we have a camper sitting out in our yard. So I decided it's only $1 to fill 5 gallons of water here. So we filled up this for $3. We put 15 gallons of water in the trailer, and I started showering in there when I want to wash my hair. And it instantly made a difference. Like, since we've lived here, I've had a dramatic change in like the texture and the quality of my hair. This is so not an issue, but it's an issue.
I'm sure the women can identify.
And it's already like changing it a little bit for the better. Yeah. So every time I'm going to wash my hair, I've been showering in the trailer.
I think you look great, babe.
So thanks for sponsoring us, because we're going to be using a lot of water to fill up that trailer 5 gallons at a time.
It's a good thing that I finally learned at 46 years old how to siphon water, because it used to take forever to pour it through a funnel. Now
you have to like lift up the 5 gallons at a really weird angle and to get it into the trailer.
Terrible. I can siphon a whole 5 gallons in like a minute now. It's
by
amazing.
himself too. He's just like, I'll go put some more water in there for you.
Hashtag science. Okay, enough dilly-dallying. If you're still here, thank you. We're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. Right. 6 tips for more effective workouts. Okay. We've got a saying around here that says, you work hard, you deserve results. So the point of this episode is to say like, all right, you're willing to put in the time in the gym. Here's how to get better results. Because the truth is, I think a lot of people listening to this, they're probably working out enough. And if they're working out and doing it enough, being consistent enough, but they're not getting results, it comes down to the fact that they're doing the wrong stuff and those workouts just aren't effective. So if we can teach you how to get more effectiveness out of your workouts, it's just going to pay dividends in the time you're already investing. And we're not saying like, now you got to work out 7 days a week. Keep working out the amount you are. Right. We're just going to make those workouts more effective, and boom, your results are going to improve.
Perfect.
What are some signs that your workout program is not effective?
Yeah. So, if you're not progressing in weights, if you're just kind of like, this is my weight, this is what I use, you don't really know how to increase them, or you're not able to.
You've been using the same dumbbell, doing the same routine for a long period of time. Your form is not improving. You're not gaining more
flexibility, ranges of motion. These things should be improving as you go through certain ranges of motion.
You get better at exercise the more you practice it, if you're doing it effectively.
You're not noticing like improvements in your endurance, things like that. If you're like
this is always hard. This never gets easier. It should get easier over time.
Okay, this is a real life example of this. Like where we live, like we walk the dogs like on a kind of country road, and when we're coming back, there's a pretty. It's like this is a country road, like we're a neighborhood road, but it's a dangerous like blind corner. And I'm like, okay, we have to hurry through this corner with the dogs, and so now we get into this thing where we run. So our dogs even know it. We start to approach the corner, and like we take off running, and like that. If like something like that is my example, like if that is like easy to do, if you can run around a corner on the street, have fun with, with your kids or dogs or whatever, and then be like, haha, that was funny. Or if you do that and you're like,
I'm dead.
Like, but you're working out regularly. That's
a good point.
That's my example.
Another sign your workout program or your workouts aren't effective is you're not gradually seeing more definition in your muscles or slightly increase in your muscle size. That should be something that happens if you're doing effective workouts. It's not too much to ask. If you're always getting hurt, that's probably not an effective workout or workout program that you're following. That's not the intent. Working out shouldn't be a dangerous activity.
Right.
So something's messed up if you are. And then last but not least, if you have no motivation to work out, you're probably following the wrong workout program. Are you going to always feel like working out? Definitely not. No. We don't even feel like working out all the time. But if you don't ever feel like working out, you're always dreading your workouts, that's not an effective workout program. It's time to mix things up.
All right.
Okay, so those are good signs that you really need this episode. So listen up.
All right. Go ahead. Do the first one.
Number one is you need to invest in a plan to follow. And we purposely use the word invest right there. I mean, who isn't guilty of just like sometimes wanting to go into the gym and just do what feels good that day, or you're just not that motivated, so maybe you're just going to roll around on a foam roller for a little bit. And
it's hard if you don't have a plan to know what to do. You might just like, oh, those machines are taken. Yes. You might waste a lot of time.
And like it's overwhelming too if you don't have a plan too. I know you really struggle with this. If there's some reason you can't do your normal plan that day, you're like, I don't know what to do. It's almost like you have decision fatigue. Like there's so many choices. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to do nothing. So
and I can only imagine like in a public gym where there is even more, like if you're going to like a Globo gym where there's all the machines and all the things you could be doing, and you won't even know like which ones to use and what combination to use them in or anything like that. And you could literally waste like an hour and a half in the gym just not really getting an effective workout, just being there. And that's not what we want.
And investing in a plan like literally gives you the steps that you have to follow. It seems kind of silly, but like what other thing in your life do you expect to like be able to stick to consistently without a plan? Like you are trying to save for retirement. You need to have a plan of where you're going to invest that money and on what schedule you're going to invest it. If you're like trying to do a Bible study and you're just like, I'm just going to crack the Bible open every day. Hope that.
How many times have you read Genesis? You're like,
no, you download a program, a plan that leads you through the Bible or like takes you through a certain book or whatever. Or like, I have experience in construction. Like, we never walked into a remodel or building a new house and be like, all right,
where do we start?
What are we going to do? You got to have a plan to follow if you're going to get results. So invest in a plan. And like, it's not only just like the physical act of seeing the plan on paper, but there's usually some accountability that goes along with it too. And that's, I think, one of the major benefits of why people continue to pay us for our services, not only for the killer workouts, the expert coaching, but just for the relationship and the accountability too. So,
and that's what I was going to bring up is like nowadays everybody has an app. I actually just saw today, one of my favorite clothing brands, Gymshark, holla, holla, has an app, a separate app with workouts. Yeah. It's like you can get workouts everywhere now. And I mean, just speaking, not because we're a digital barbell and a company that does this, but I think that there is something to invest in actual people that are going to be knowing your name and looking out for you rather than just like any app, the Nike app, the Gymshark app, the whatever app. And you can get workouts downloaded, but maybe you're not that motivated to do them because you might do them for like a week and a half and then that motivation fails and there's no one looking for you. Did you do your Gymshark app?
Yeah.
Or workout today?
Right.
I don't even know what they are. They might be fantastic. But
like we keep our client list short enough that we have relationships with all of our people and we can see if they're not working out. With these apps, it's like, you're just one of a bazillion people. Like, nobody's going to reach out, but we reach out to our people. Hey, what's up? Like, I saw you didn't work out yesterday. Yeah. And like, oh, here's what's going on in my life. And we can help keep them on track through that relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2. All
right. We talk about this one a lot.
Number 2 tip.
Do your warm up.
It's true. If you want to have a more effective workout, don't skip your warm up. It might seem like, I don't have time. I'm just going to skip the warm up and get right into it. Well, what if that's costing you gains in the long run? And it is.
The warm ups I write are intended to be about 5 minutes in length.
You've got time for a 5-minute
You've got time. And it's honestly, it's helpful. It's like if you walk over and even if you're just starting with dumbbells and you walk straight to the dumbbells and you lift up the 25s and you start to press them overhead, you're going to be like, oh, that kind of hurts. Maybe I shouldn't do that today. I mean, that's happening, that can happen easily. Yeah. But if you've gone through this warm up, it's less likely that you're going to feel something like that and be like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this today because you've already gone through ranges of motion.
Yes. So that's a great benefit of doing a warm up. Makes your workouts more effective because you're less likely to get hurt. It starts to pump blood and oxygen into the muscles, making it so you can use the nutrients and the energy available more efficiently to get more out of the workouts. Everybody knows we say motion is lotion. So getting moving at the beginning of the workout is going to make your sets more effective. You're going to get more out of it. It's like this cumulative effect.
And you're going to get some, like I always say, you're getting bonus reps. Like I'm going to have push-ups. I'm going to have some ab work in there. I'm going to have some squats. And if you're doing 20 to 30 extra reps of those a week, especially things like push-ups and pull-ups, you're just going to get better at them.
Blakely has said like 10 times already today that she's sore. So this makes me think about like if your legs are sore and you have air squats in your warm up or whatever, like those are hard to get through because you are sore. But as you do it, you start to get more range of motion. Yeah. So let's say that you skipped your warm up and you had another leg exercise when your legs are already sore. If you didn't do the warm up, you're going to go to do that leg exercise. Your range of motion is going to be decreased, meaning you're going to get less out of doing that exercise. But if you had done the warm up with the air squats in it, you would have reestablished that range of motion, activated all those tissues and the muscles, got some warmth and blood flow in there, and you'll get more out of doing your squats. So it's not just about like us as coaches being like, do your warm up. No, it's for your benefit. It's going to be a more effective workout. You're going to get more out of it for the same amount of time.
Here's a personal real life story about this. I used to coach at Rice University, a power fitness class, and I have all of the workouts that we deliver to the students still archived in like an old folder. And I recently like looked at them and I was just like, let me see what we used to do back then for some inspiration. And if you're a current client, you'll notice this has been a trend. But I noticed that we did pull-ups like 3 out of 5 days a week, like big sets of pull-ups, like 10, 2 rounds of 10 pull-ups or 10 chin-ups or 10 inverted rows or something like that multiple times a week. And I used to be a lot better at pull-ups than I did now. And I started me thinking like, I used to be a lot better at consistent sets of pull-ups than I am now. And I noticed that I was doing a lot of pull-ups in those warm-ups. So
makes sense.
And the clients that we have today now, like in the last few weeks, I've been like pumping those back into the warm-ups because I'm like, this is something a lot of people want to be better at. And it just takes like putting, doing a set in your warm-ups like a couple times a week.
What about the person that just heard you say that like, I can't do 1 pull-up. You're doing 10 pull-ups in the warm-up. How does that work?
There's scaling options.
That's right.
For everybody.
Always got to say it. Why don't you give us like a sample warm up?
Yeah. So this is like a warm up I would use for like not every, they're not always the same, but this is on a press day this week that we're doing, 2 rounds for quality, some jumping jacks, some push-ups, some hollow rocks for the abs, and then some band pull aparts to get the shoulders all lubed up. Do that twice. And then 10 reps of like a stretch, like a spider reach. I really like that one. It helps you stretch out the legs and like, get the spine and the upper body all nice and stretched out as well.
Some people call that stretch the world's greatest stretch. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Carlos said that when he was here, and I was like, I feel like I've heard that before, but it basically puts your whole body through a nice range of motion.
That's another one. Like with my gym at Triat, we did this weekly, several times a week, and I would get down on the floor and do it with them. And then since I've stopped coaching in person,
how's that going now?
I am way worse at this stretch. And so those are popping back in too, because I'm like, I got to make myself go through those ranges of motion. I did it with 5 classes a day. I did the spider, and I was like, I'm so flexible. And now I'm like, nope.
You got another warm up for us?
Yeah, this is another one like we're seeing right now where I'm adding those pull-ups. So this is like on a squat or deadlift day. We'll do 2 rounds for quality of some good mornings, stretch out the hamstrings, some inchworm push-ups. That's again some push-up volume, but then going to stretch out the hamstrings as well, some air squats, and then a set of pull-ups.
There you go.
So I like to say a hard set of pull-ups. So, because I'm not going to say like do 10 pull-ups. Like you said, if I can only get 1 or 2, that's going to take me a long time. But if I can already do 12 in a row and I say 10, that's not really, or you can do 20 in a row, like 10 is not going to be that big of a deal to you. So doing a hard set for you of pull-ups. And then like something like a couch stretch.
I like it. Good stuff. If you guys have if you want us to like show you what those warm-ups look like, just send us a message on Instagram. We'll send you what those were written out. It's hard sometimes to visualize.
Visualize it.
Listening or on YouTube.
Take notes.
Okay, you good with that one? All right, let's move on to tip number 3 to make your workouts more effective. Do your heavy compound lifts first. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about your heavier sets of barbell back squats, barbell front squats, barbell deadlifts, barbell bench press, barbell overhead press, and then everything that I just said, you could substitute the word dumbbell into if you're not somebody who works out with barbells. It's not really about the tool that you're using. It's the exercise you're doing in your workout that's most focused on you building strength. We want to put that at the beginning of your workout so you're going into it fresh. You have less fatigue already built up just from the cumulative effect throughout your workout, meaning you're going to be able to put more effort into that, get the biggest bang for your buck on your strength building movements, because that's what's using the most muscle mass out of everything else in your workout. So it's a great return on investment. You'll have less, the fact that you have less carryover fatigue from doing a bunch of stuff previously also means you're probably going to have less risk for injury than if you were to save your heavy compound lifts for the end of your workout. That matters just because nothing will set your training back and make your training less effective than getting hurt and having to take time off the gym or make big modifications. There's also research that shows that you release more anabolic hormones if you do your heavy lifts at the beginning of the workout versus the end. So why not make that process more effective by moving those suckers up to the beginning of the workout? And there's also research that shows that you're just able to recruit more motor units that build strength as you have less accumulated fatigue throughout the workout. So there's just all these reasons that all add up to you getting more out of your strength training if you do those suckers at the beginning of your workout versus the end.
All right.
And that might not be the case if you go to like a group class where you're doing them at a random part of the workout or you're not doing them at all. So there we go. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Bump those suckers up.
All right. The 4th one, understand the intent of your conditioning. So if you've heard this podcast ever, our training style is we combine the best of strength training, bodybuilding, and CrossFit style conditioning workouts.
Yep.
And this conditioning piece can be a big part where you can let your, what's the topic of this?
6 tips to make your workouts more effective.
The effectiveness of the workout can slide.
You might be doing conditioning without it being effective.
Yeah.
Like you need to understand what is the point of this conditioning element in my workout, because I need to hit the intent of it to maximize.
Which, if you've not done these type of workouts, like if you've never been in a group fitness class where you have had a coach organize your workout for you and lead you through a general warm up and do all those things, you might not know how to actually do these type of workouts. Yeah. And so I try to balance writing like way too much that people don't want to read the notes that I'm giving for the workouts. but also enough that they understand the intent. They understand like what kind of domain I'm going for, and they can understand like how to like set themselves up for success with these workouts.
Yeah.
So a big piece in this is, you know, kind of like getting yourself organized and doing almost like another little tiny warm up for this by, you know, getting all the equipment out, testing the weights. Like, it's not just like reading the workout and like 3, 2, 1, go. Let me grab my dumbbells as I'm starting the first like set of push press that's in this workout.
Right.
And then let me get my box and drag it over in the middle of the workout.
Right.
That is really not going to lead to an effective workout. It's going to feel, you're going to feel like you went through the motions of that workout and didn't really get the most of it.
And we can basically break conditioning down into 3 elements that train different parts of your cardiovascular ability. You've got these 3 energy systems, and we won't go into super detail on this podcast, but different kinds of conditioning are specifically designed to train those 3 energy systems so that you become a well-rounded athlete for life, and also if you're training for some sort of athletic ability or, you know, event also. So if there's a workout program that's supposed to hit one or more of these energy systems, but you don't realize that because you don't understand like the way you're supposed to attack this workout, you could just be doing something that's ineffective for what the idea was in the first place. So that's why this matters.
And that's exactly why this style of training really is what we love to give like general clients, is because instead of just, you know, doing your lifts and then going for a 20-minute jog every day, if we did that, we're not going to be hitting the different energy systems and making you the healthiest that we can make you.
And if you do go to certain kinds of group classes, you might only be training, even if you have a coach guiding you through it, you could be only training like one of your energy systems. Like, you know, maybe you only do high intensity work in the 8 to 12 minute time domain. Well, that's one of the energy systems with some overlap. I mean, it's not like a black or white thing, but you're missing out on a lot of progress.
Or maybe you only do like 30, 45-minute sweat sessions where you're kind of moving at a slow pace, but for a continuous thing. That's great, but that's like one other piece of the puzzle.
I would say, you know, things like Orange Theory and F45, like those are mainly training longer duration, lower. I mean, it can't be really high intensity because you're doing it for so long. You know, a 1 rep max deadlift is high intensity. That's training your short burst duration energy system. You're not doing that in a class like that. You're mainly training your longer duration, lower intensity stuff, which is leaving a lot of holes in your game.
Yeah, I looked up a couple of workouts that we've done recently in this last week or so with the clients. And just to give, I'm not going to read all through these, but just to give a couple examples of different types of workouts. This one, actually, we just did this one this week. And I said, this is one of my favorite workouts we've done in a long time, the way it was written. And it's like a 3 rounds for time with rest in between each round. And so it was a run, and then you came back in and you jump roped and you lift, you know, did a high pull, and then you did a burpee, and then you rested. And so the intent of this was to like bust through and, you know, bring the heat, bring the intensity through that round, and then get to recover before the next round. So workouts like that are good for pushing the intensity and then getting some recovery and doing that on a repeated cycle.
So like that would be an example of like an anaerobic interval workout. And if somebody didn't understand the intent of that, they might go through it really, really slow and turn what's supposed to be anaerobic training into an aerobic effort where you just move slow and steady for 30 minutes doing the exact same exercises, but you missed the intent.
And also, as I said, like the domain was, it's about 4 minutes for a round. So, and then within a minute of rest following. So if you weren't able to, you know, if it was going to take you a lot longer than 4 minutes, you would know like either something was off, some reps needed to be shaved off, or you weren't pushing that intensity that we were looking for.
I like it. So just to recap, the bottom line of that one is understanding the intent of your conditioning will make your workout more effective if you know what you're doing as you go into it.
Yeah. And then some longer duration things, like a lot of times on like our Saturday, we'll have that longer duration workout where it might be an AMRAP of 20 minutes or so, and it'll be 3 to 5 movements. And the intent is to work for the duration of the time, just getting through the rounds as you can at a steady pace, nothing that you have to like, we're not trying to go so intense that we are bent over on our hands and knees for a minute, trying to recover. We're just trying to move steady.
And if you're listening to this and like it confuses you, or you've never heard stuff like this, there's a good chance like you're following a workout program that is either maybe a little bit boring or ineffective. So give us a shot. Let us show you how it can be fun and effective at the same time, and do some things that you've never done before.
Because it doesn't, I mean, I think sometimes reading these type of things might sound horrible to somebody, but I mean, we have, over 100 clients that are doing these weekly.
They keep coming back for more, baby.
They might look at them and be like, wow, I can't do that. And then they do that. And then they're like, I can't believe I was able to do that. And I feel so great. And like I said before about the pull-ups, like everything that we do is scalable. Yeah. We have clients in their 20s and we have clients in their 70s, and they're all doing about the same workout. And that's the beauty of this, is that you can modify and scale these things to every level.
Our needs vary by degree, not by kind. We can all do the same things to a different degree. I just said it. I mean,
all right, number 5.
All right, number 5 way to make your workout more effective is to rest enough between sets, guys. This one just keeps popping up. I'm not going to name names, but we had a friend out here to work out with us at Digital Barbell headquarters a couple of years ago. She's a member of an F45 gym, and she was doing our workout with us that day. We're doing a set of dumbbell rows. I went, Blakely went, then she went. And then after she finished her set, she started jumping around doing like jumping lunges or burpees or high knees. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm keeping my heart rate up between exercises to get the... I'm like, whoa. Like, but I know that's a big focus for a lot of people. They think that an effective workout is one where you keep your heart rate.
Like the clock goes 3, 2, 1, go, and then 60 minutes later it stops and you didn't stop moving.
And going back to what we just said, like if we're doing a strength exercise or a bodybuilding exercise and you're just trying to keep your heart rate up throughout the workout, you're not strength training or doing bodybuilding. You're doing aerobic conditioning through the entire 30 minutes. And like you're using up the energy that you could be putting into the exercise that is helping, that you're supposed to be building strength and muscle in. So it's less effective.
But I would say that's not the most common thing. I think the most common thing is just feeling like you want to rush through your sets. Because I remember like coaching at the gym, I would start a clock and I would be like, you don't go again until the clock beeps. And people were just like dying. They're like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, no, we're going to go on the schedule, and you get enough rest for your body.
Yeah. I think we're brainwashed to think both the time, like we want to crunch, we want to like shorten this workout as much as we can, but we're trained to think like if we don't leave the gym hot, sweaty, and tired and exhausted because we like worked hard and worked fast the entire time, then it wasn't an effective workout. But we're trying to tell you that's the opposite of what you should be doing. Like
if you're doing the strength training
during your strength training and during bodybuilding exercises too. Like the point of the rest between sets is to give your body enough recovery to flush out all the metabolite buildup that you get in your muscles. So beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can put in a really hard effort into the next set, that you can come close to failure and not be limited by the fact that you're out of breath or that your arms are still so swollen up from the last set that you can't do a set of curls. Like if you really want to make workouts effective and make progress, rest enough between sets on your strength and bodybuilding that you really can put in a good effort. And for some guys, I can speak to that because I'm a guy.
I can speak to that.
I mean, as you get stronger and you're squatting and deadlifting significant weight, we're talking about on a strength set, between strength sets, you might need to rest between 3 and 10 minutes before you're ready to get back underneath the barbell. Okay, talk to me when you're squatting over 300 pounds, and you're definitely going to want to rest 10 minutes between a set of 5. It's on the long side, and it's not for the faint of heart if you don't have a lot of time to train. But my point is, like, it might be longer than you think before you're ready. And then on the the isolation exercises like curls and lateral raises and stuff like that, somewhere between 1 and 3 minutes is plenty of time. But I do see people think that it's like 15, 30 seconds of rest. I'm ready to go again. Keep the burn, keep the heart rate up. No, stop it.
On that same vein, I think a bonus tip on here is also to stay focused in your workout.
Yeah.
Like if you're resting too much, your workout can become ineffective. Like if you are like watching TV or using your phone in between sets, and like you're doing a set of curls, and then 10 minutes goes by because you get distracted on your phone, and then you're going to do your next set of curls. You're leading yourself into an ineffective workout like that. So both stay focused, rest enough. That's the first thing we tell clients if like they're like, I can't get my press, I can't get my
stuck.
Like let's add another minute of rest. But then in the same vein, like stay focused in your workouts. Make sure that you're not just like your room isn't full of distractions that you're gonna like walk off and 30 minutes later come back for your set too.
Right. What are you supposed to do in these periods of rest? Well, let's make these rest periods effective too, and start setting up for your next exercise. Or if let's say that you did your deadlifts and you're moving on to dumbbell rows next, don't break your barbell down from your deadlifts immediately, get started on your dumbbell rows, and then go back and break your barbell from deadlifts down in between your dumbbell row sets.
Or you can just sit there and meditate. If you start moving equipment around, you're not resting either.
I think people get the point. Like, there's things you can do, like start to set up your next exercise in the rest period. People got it. She's just being argumentative, which means we're getting to the end of this episode.
All right. Number 6.
Number 6 way to make your workout more effective is to bring the heat. What are we talking about on bringing the heat? Your effort level. It doesn't take any longer to bring effort to a workout than to go through the motions. Every day is not going to feel like that. Some days it's going to be just that you're mailing it in. But when you're feeling a little bit spicy, feeling good, bring the heat on that effort. 30 bicep curls that you do that are hard, each set comes close to failure, is more effective than doing 100 bicep curls that were easy. It takes even less time to up the weight and do less reps. You need to know like what rep range you're supposed to be working in, #hire a coach. But putting effort into more intense sets is an incredible way to make your workouts more effective. Probably the most overlooked thing in all of human history.
Bring the heat.
When we're talking about hypertrophy, making your muscles bigger so that you can see them underneath the skin and flex at the beach and all that kind of stuff, the best results you're going to get is bringing your sets within 1 to 2 reps of failure. That's where the best progress is going to be made. And then somewhere around 3 or 5 reps on a strength set. You don't have to bring your heavy sets of deadlifts to like a rep before failure over time where you're grinding it out to make tremendous progress with strength. So what a little synopsis on that: for hypertrophy, go closer to failure. For your strength exercises, leave a little bit more in the tank. That's a great balance. And then your favorite thing to bring up is pushing the intensity on your conditioning too.
Yeah.
Bring the heat. Like, we limit ourselves so much in conditioning by what's going on between our ears, not what our physical body is capable of.
And that's why that doing the training like this is so beneficial for your mindset as well as your body, because you learned every day, you get to learn something about yourself, that I was able to do that. I didn't think I could push that hard. And you learn to like walk the line of like, how hard can I push, and all those fun things about, working out. And you're like, oh, that like, you feel like if I push too hard, I'm going to like have to rest too long. And you just learn these things about yourself as you do workouts like this.
And then 5 minutes after you do something intense that you didn't think you could do, like, you have the self-confidence from having done it, and you feel normal.
And you feel, So that leads, back to what we were talking about before, is just like, doing things with intention, like setting up your equipment, warming up, getting everything ready, like doing all of this stuff with intention. Versus like, and even like to that point, like going and understanding the body parts that you're supposed to be working, and everything like that. If we don't know exactly what we're doing or why we're doing it, or we're just like going through the motions of something, then it's not gonna be effective.
I like it. Okay, let's recap all 6 real quick.
Oh, goodness.
Number 1 way to make your workouts more effective is have a plan, invest in a plan. Number 2 is do a general warm-up. Don't skip it. Number 3 is on this sheet of paper right here. Do your heavy compound lifts first instead of jumping straight to your accessory exercises or your conditioning. Number 4, understand the intent of your conditioning so you can get what out of it you're supposed to get out of it. Number 5 was rest enough between sets. Quit jumping around doing burpees in between your sets of barbell curls. And number 6, bring the heat. Bring the intensity to everything that you do in the gym.
Nobody's doing burpees in between their sets, believe me.
All right, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you join our email list in the description below so you can be the first to know about the Black Friday sale.
Yeah, and like if you didn't get the gift guide,
we'll put the link to that in the description
and
too.
You grab it because it's a really good one this year.
All right, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Have a great Thanksgiving. We're taking next week off. Take care.